Hey everyone, today I wanted to go over the massive news we got from Capcom regarding the highly expected 2.0 update for Monster Hunter Rise on the Nintendo Switch. And this is basically it. This is the big set of news that we've been all expecting to see heading into the later part of the month in April, so we can finally get some news on the big 2.0 update. Capcom finally decided to reveal that on April 27th, at 7 AM Pacific time or 10 AM Eastern time if you live out on the East Coast, they will be hosting a new stream on their official Twitch channel, revealing a bunch of new information. They're basically having a big blowout event to provide us with all the details for not just Monster Hunter Rise's 2.0 big update, which they're clearly labeling as the big feature that you should be tuning in to see, but also their latest information on Monster Hunter Stories 2. And there are several layers of reasoning as to why they definitely want to keep these two games tied together promotionally wise. And one of the things that I spoke about in my most recent video, where they are definitely trying to push Monster Hunter Stories 2 now, since Monster Hunter Rise is out and available, and the marketing team basically just wants people be tuning in to see more information as they see stuff for Rise, but also they see for Monster Hunter Stories 2. So basically, if you are interested in Rise, you can get more information on Stories 2 as well. This has been talked about openly from their marketing team, that they're really trying to synergize both of these games together. This is why they're doing the layered events, the timed events in the future once that game launches. All of that is tied together, so this doesn't necessarily surprise me. What I do find extremely interesting is that they're doing a big blowout digital event stream once again. I would have typically expected that they put out a trailer, they tell us the date, and they just go about their day, but no, instead they're hosting another big, let's call it a Monster Hunter Direct, which is basically what they're trying to do. And, hosting a big, digital event once again for this game that is supposed to be getting updates, free new monsters, free new quests and stuff like that. They sadly don't reveal anything that we didn't already know before. They tell us that, Chameleos is coming, Apex Rathalos is coming, and much more, quote unquote. But that's it. No actual new monster names, no anything like that. If you know anything about the leaks already, we've gone over that into detail. Sadly, my biggest leaked video got taken down by Capcom, but that video had all the information that, the timing of it, which is basically the clarification as to which monsters we're going to be able to see in the 2.0 update, the 3.0 update, and the expected 4.0 update that's going to be following soon. I believe now it's scheduled for August, so don't hold me on that, but I believe that's the wording that I've seen thrown around for now. So for now, April 2.0 update, we know Chameleos, we know Rathalos. I know there's going to be a couple of event quests, a couple of new surprises that, again, some of the, leaks people should already know about, but yeah, definitely looking forward to this one. Now, as far as Monster Hunter Stories 2 goes, what they basically have to show is, I believe, is segments of the new different villages that you do get to explore, and a bevy of monsters that are going to be available in that game. I am putting together a video. I don't want to tease it or anything, but I do want to make mention that there's a lot of information available for this game. Plenty of it which would actually incur the eye of Capcom once again on my channel, that I don't necessarily want that kind of attention anymore, especially coming from that, because I do like this series. And when I talk about leaks, it's not necessarily something that I'm trying to ruin the game for people. It's just that, I'm trying to provide the information that's out there if you haven't actually seen it. But with all that said, it wouldn't necessarily surprise me if they reveal at the very least 5 or so new monsters, and definitely a couple of the new areas that we already know about, and also some of the new combat mechanics specifically that they have not showcased just yet. So they have definitely a lot of ground to cover when it comes to that game specifically, because let me just be flat out with you guys. That game has way more content than Monster Hunter Rise does at this point in time, period. Now, I don't know if they're going to actually segment it off like they did with Rise, where we know the full monster list, but they're going to trickle it out as little bit as possible. When it comes to Monster Hunter Stories 2, there are just way many more monsters, more than double, maybe even 3 times as much. But we don't know actually if they're going to be trickling those out as DLC. I would presume that they do, because that's just their ongoing pattern. This is something that I just spoke about in one of my previous videos, where Capcom's, seems to be hell-bent set on just churning out more DLC, and just, even though it's free DLC, just making more content available through DLC than just basically just giving you a complete game and letting you play through it normally like you would have back in the days. Now they just seem to be hell-bent on just giving you a quote-unquote full game and then giving you parsing it out extra content as, a digital live service kind of thing, where a lot of people like that. Don't get me wrong. I've seen positive takes on what Monster Rise is trying to do with, the segmented off monsters and the digital updates and stuff like that they're going to be rolling out. But the pacing is just off. It feels like it's just taking too long for actually to get done. Ultimately, if they decide to, do that again in Monster Hunter Stories 2, although maybe the pacing should be a little bit better, I don't know. Hopefully they can learn from that. This rollout for now for Rise has not been great. I think that even when it comes to just the glitches that they've not actually addressed or fixed, and the things that they've actually fixed, like the infinite item glitch that didn't necessarily need fixing. I don't think that was actually ruining anyone's experience, but they really cracked down on that, and they wanted to fix that right away instead of just some of the other more, I guess, notable glitches that we've actually seen, and even like typing errors that are available in the game. Instead, they decided to just crack down on, really silly things that they probably shouldn't be too focused on. So hopefully going forward, they could just, these big patches, they could start addressing bigger issues. And if they do decide with Monster Hunter Stories 2 to make that into just another type of rollout with slow updates and stuff like that going forward, maybe that game can definitely have, a much better starting experience, which I do believe it will have, since that's just kind of like a finite RPG, not an open RPG, kind of like Monster Hunter action RPG. But also, they should be able to learn from their mistakes ultimately. Hopefully that's the case. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, April 27th at 7 a.m. Pacific time or 10 a.m. Eastern time if you are on the East Coast. Tune in. This is going to be a good one for sure. Do expect a new trailer for Monster Hunter Rise. Of course, they're going to make a big deal out of the monsters that they're going to reveal, especially one that, we're all kind of waiting to see, but I don't think it's going to be part of this patch. A certain crimson monster. That's all I'll say, because again, I don't want to get in trouble anymore. But we should be able to see him soon enough. So hopefully they're going to be showing some good things that people are definitely interested in seeing. And me personally, I just want to see more event quests. I want more things to do while I'm not necessarily hunting things for, just churning out those charms. Which hopefully that fix for those charm table situations also gets provided in this big patch. I know a lot of people are having that issue, or at the very least, they are extremely concerned that they could be in a cursed table, which I talked about before. The percentage of that actually being true is kind of low, but ultimately people just want to make sure that they are not in a cursed table, they can't get one of the god charms, and ultimately just, not have to be worried that they are cycling through charms naturally, and they do have that chance to be able to have one of the good charms that we all seem to be chasing. Although do keep in mind that the meta will most likely change right now with the 2 new monsters being introduced that we know of, because Camellios alone is going to have a different armor set, and we don't necessarily know what abilities that armor set is going to have. And all the monsters that are going to be added in are most likely endgame elders and stuff like that, right? So they're definitely going to change the way that armor sets are built and the abilities that they come with it. So those mixed armor sets that you have are probably going to change up all the way around to begin with, not just for gunners, but definitely for, blade masters, who right now are pretty much just using the same armor set over and over in almost each one of their builds, because there's just everyone is going for the same stats, and hopefully the meta will change going forward because this new update with some new monsters. Another one of the things that I spoke about recently in the most recent video when it comes to Monster Hunter Rise was that decorations also needed a bit of tweaking, or at the very least the way that we obtain gems. And one of those event quests would basically make it easier for us to be able to just farm directly one event quest with a couple of easy monsters to target, where we can get a couple of gems guaranteed as drops, and maybe even a couple extra if we break some parts, like they did with the Dogogama quest back in Monster Hunter Worlds very early on, where people were farming them for decorations and stuff like that. So a way for us to be able to cycle through quests faster, be able to obtain a couple of gems quicker, so we can then get those decorations crafted a little bit faster, although we still need the items from the specific monsters that require them, would go a long way. It would be something that we definitely need to see implemented right away. And it's one of those things that I spoke about before, this like we need to see more and easier ways to be able to obtain items that are not necessarily the easiest way to get as of right now, since the game is out early, but they are aware of that, and hopefully they provide us with a way to be able to get it done. So that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys are excited as I am. I'm thrilled. I just saw the news and I'm just like, I got to talk about this right away. So definitely going to be tuning in. We're going to be talking about whatever they show off afterwards. And yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.